folks? Good afternoon. This is Mike Newmeyer again. And my phone number here is 410-902-0464. The last time I talked to you, we talked a little bit about our private pensions, and I gave you some general information. And what I want to do now is break it down a little bit and give you an idea how they can help you in retirement. Okay? So let's say hypothetically you've got a 401k or you've got a TSP or a 403b or some plan that you're going to roll over at retirement. Well, many of them you can actually roll over earlier if the company allows you to do it. And that's advantageous for the products that we have because we have bonuses and it starts earlier and so forth and so on. Okay. Now, let me give you an idea. If you had 100,000 and you left it in the market, either where it's now or it is now or you changed it, but you left it in the market, okay? You know the market goes up, it goes down, all kinds of activity, right? Back in 2000, we lost a terrible amount of money in the market. In 2008, 9, and so forth, we lost a lot of money in the market. And these things come along. And of course, every year you're older. So the problem is, in that instance, if you get a downturn, let's say that 100,000 had gotten up to 127,000, but you lost 10,000 in a year. So you'd be back down 10,000. If you lost it in another year, same kind of thing, you'd have a diminishing amount of money that you'd have to try to regain the losses. Chances are you won't. The reality is that we don't really regain money that we've lost. We may go back up. You go back up, you haven't made up the money you lost. So that's just a side note. But let's pretend that you averaged 5%, counting the losses when you went down, counting the upside. Maybe you made 10% some of those years. Maybe you made nothing. Maybe you made 5%, 3%, whatever. But if we average it out and we say 5%, and we started with $100,000, where would we be in 10 years? Let's say you started at 100, you would be at 5%. You would move up from 105 in the first year to 110, to 115, to 121, to 127, to 134, to 140, to 147, to 155, and after 10 years, you have $162,000. So you would have grown basically 62,000 from where you started. Now, and let's say it's an IRA because you roll it over from a plan at work. There's always going to be an IRA if you roll it over, unless you want to pay all the taxes, which nobody ever does. If you just took the money and didn't roll it over, you'd have to pay your income tax on it. State, federal, everything. Okay. So you're not going to do that. You're going to take it and you roll it over into an IRA. And now that's what I'm giving you examples of. So now let's say you put it into one of our private pensions, like so many people have and are still doing and are doing right as we speak. Okay. So you started with 100,000. You'd have you'd go from 100, to 130, to 142, to 154, 166, 178, 190, 202,000 in 10 years. Now that is a guaranteed gain. That's a guarantee. That's a big deal, isn't it? Because you're not having to worry about what the average is because you've got a guaranteed gain. Now when it's time to retire, you've got 202,000 versus 162. So you're $40,000 ahead. What could be simpler? $40,000 ahead, ready for you to retire with in that plan. Now, if you have more than 100,000, of course, then the numbers will be higher. I mean, I just did a plan for a lady that had 350,000 in her plan. She'd been in the plan a long time. So, a lot of people will have a bigger balance, 100,000. But that's an easy number for me to work with, and that's why I've shown you this, okay? So let's say for every 100 that you put in, you would be ahead that much on each 100. So that's the way that works. Okay, so let's talk about the advantages of both ideas. In the plan we're talking about, you'd have no market risk, no risk in the market. You're not in the market. You're not in the market. I got to say that 10 times because people will say, well, what about the risk in the market? There is no market involved. So there's no risk in the market. Okay. Of course, on the other side, when you have the market in a 401k, money's in a 401k or any of these other plans, you are in the market. So we don't know. We can't guarantee anything when it's in the market. Okay. There's no insurance that you're going to grow. Okay. Now, again, on our products, you've got insurance against risk. So there's no risk that you have to worry about. And on the other side, in the market, there's no insurance, as I said before. Okay. In our products, you've got guaranteed growth, which I've already demonstrated to you. You've got guaranteed growth. In the market, there is no guaranteed growth. You know, that's why people have lost so much money in plans at work and so forth. You know, some people say, well, I look back here and I've done very well. Well, the more you've done well, the more years that you've done well, the closer you are to a downturn. Now think about that. That's just the way it is, because the market goes up and down. If it goes down and you start your retirement income, you're obviously going to have a lower income than you would have if you had retired early when you had all those great years. See, that's the thing you got to remember. We don't want to take money out of the market when, excuse me, when the market's down. We want to take money out when the market's up. Hard for people to understand. They say, well, the market's going up. Yes, but you're retiring. You have to start the income. And the more income you take out, the less money you have in the market. And when the market goes down, you just can't win. That's the way it works. I shouldn't say you can't win, because obviously there is always a possibility. But do you want that risk? Do you want to worry about that money running out? You know, that's I got a lady that always says, well, they send me X number of dollars every month. Yes, that's true. But they're not. But what's going to happen is, if you keep going that way, from the market, eventually you either run out of money, or the money that you can get each month has got to go down. And you're older, and you're worse shape maybe physically. Do you want to have to deal with those kinds of problems? Okay, let me go on. In our products, you got lifetime income, guaranteed lifetime income. And I have people say, well, how long is it last? Well, how long are you going to live? And if you're married, then your spouse will continue to get the same amount of income. Lifetime income, dollars that stay the same. They're not going to go down. Remember, you're not in the market, and you have the absolute right to get lifetime income. And I've got lots of people that are on lifetime income from these kinds of plans. Okay, so it's guaranteed. And then after it's all gone, after you're gone, after your spouse is gone, if you have a spouse, then there's a death benefit that goes to your beneficiaries. So, that's another guarantee. You've got the death benefit. And that's about it. You don't have a spousal guarantee, or you're married and your wife or your husband doesn't get guaranteed income from the market money. Okay, just like you don't know when it's going to run out, and so forth and so on. And if there's less money in there, then you're going to get less money out. So these are the guarantees that you have that I've spoken now about. Individual guarantees that you have in our products. So the question is, do you want to gamble? You want to roll the dice, take a chance, hope the money lasts by leaving it in the market? Or do you want certainty? Most people want certainty. They don't know maybe about these kinds of products. And I can give you more and more and more information, and you can read it. You can read it. It's in writing. You can read it. You come in, see me, and I'm more than happy to go through it, and I'll give you written information to take home with you until you can make a decision. And there's never going to be any pressure, and there's absolutely no charge for coming in. So we're putting a plan together for lifetime income, and we're not charging you for any of that. All right? So my answer is, give me a call. 410-902-0464. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to talk to you. And I hope you'll call me. Thanks again.